This is you right now. You have an Upwork profile, you're sending a lot of proposals to jobs, and all you hear is crickets. Now this is you after watching this video. You have an awesome profile that tells Upwork clients exactly how you can help them. You're sending the right proposals to the right jobs, and clients are actually giving you the time of day and the money. Sounds good? Let's learn how. But I want to preface this with a little disclaimer that Upwork works if you do. Meaning if you put in the work, you'll get a rewarder, versus if you put in 10 minutes into writing your profile and then copy and paste a bunch of proposals, you'll just come back to me and complain that Upwork doesn't work. So don't be that person. But that's what you shouldn't do. Now, what you should do is, first of all, research. Before you start anything, or before you continue your Upwork journey, if you've started it already, you gotta do your research. You gotta learn everything there is to know about your service. And I don't mean like you need to be the expert at it, but you need to know the ins and outs. And obviously you also need to know a lot about your client. You need to know what they're struggling with when they're looking for help with your particular service. You need to know how your service helps them, like how their lives or businesses will look differently after that. And you also need to do some research on other freelancers. Now, I always say this, it's not to copy others, it's not to copy and paste their profile or their rates, but it's to get inspired and to see what else is out there and what else is possible, so then you can tailor customize your own profile and services. This will also help you to figure out what other complementary services you may want to offer, what rates you can expect, and most importantly than anything, and I think I mentioned this already, so I'm repeating myself because it's that important, how it helps your client and what the transformation is. Like, that should be the key thing in this research period. Understand how your service can make an impact. So once you have that, you want to move into your profile. Some must-haves for your profile is to have a clear title with keywords. Don't make it too creative. Don't say I'm a social media wizard or something like that. Just use keywords that your client is searching for. You also want to have a detailed overview that speaks more to the client than to you. That's why it was important in the first step to do the research and really get to know your client and the transformation you offer, because that needs to be the main focus of your profile, not I went to college at this and that and I'm great at this. They don't care. Your profile should also have a video to showcase your personality and show that you're an actual person and build that trust with your client. You want to have at least 3 portfolio pieces to show past work you've done. And again, this can be work that you've done for school, for yourself, for a free client, anything like that. It's all work that you've done and should be in your portfolio. You also want to try to have at least 3 projects in your project catalog, because this is a good way to bring clients in, as opposed to always sending out proposals. Of course, you still want to send out proposals in the beginning, but it's an extra way to get more clients. You want to set up the consultations on Upwork if you offer them, because again, that's another way to get clients in. And I think Upwork is prioritizing consultations now. At least I've been getting a lot of requests for them. So try it out and see how it works. You also want to have at least 1 testimonial. This can be from a past employer, past client, someone who you've worked for free, a beta client, anything like that. Just request a testimonial through Upwork. And you want your profile to be 100% complete. Like, please promise to me right now, pinky promise, that you won't send any more proposals before you complete your profile, okay? And I'll show you right here on the screen how you can find that. Next step is jobs. Of course, you want to apply to jobs, right? But you want to apply to the right ones. Like, don't just apply to anything you see, just be selective, because it's way easier to put in the effort in 5 jobs than it is to apply to 50. Like, you don't have time for that. So be picky and add filters to your search. That will be the key to all of this. My favorite filters to use is to avoid scams. Use the payment verified filter and make sure they've hired someone previously. I think there is 1 to 9 previous hires filter and 1 for 10 plus hires filter. So mark those all off so you don't see any scams, or at least you see less of them, hopefully. Check when the job was posted. You can see that at the top of the job post, but also scroll down a bit and see when it was last viewed by the client. So let's say the job post was posted 2 months ago and the client saw it yesterday. That can still be possible for you to apply to unless they're like already interviewing 10 people. But if it was posted like a month ago and last time they checked was a month ago, probably don't apply. It's not worth your time. Now, next step is proposals. So the main thing you want to keep in mind here is to keep them short. If you've seen any of my proposal reviews, you'll know I talk about this a lot. Keep them short. The client's busy, so they're probably looking through many proposals, so you don't want to waste their time with like your whole backstory. Again, they don't care. Make sure you include the client's name. If possible, include a Loom video. Again, if you've seen my Upwork review videos, I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself, but those are really important. So I gotta stress that. But yeah, the client's name, this can usually be found in the reviews from past freelancers, and including a Loom video. This is the best way to stand out, but feel free to ignore this if you want to get your proposals ignored. It's not my fault. Also, make sure to reference something in the job post itself. I see this a lot, again, in the proposal reviews that I do, is people don't mention enough things about the job post, which makes the proposal look like it was copy and pasted, or it could be copy and pasted for many different jobs, just because it lacks that customization feature. And lastly, show work samples. Like, either create a portfolio that you can attach like a PDF to each proposal you send, or direct them to a portfolio piece in your profile or something like that, but show examples. Like, don't just say you can do X thing, show them how you can do it. And by the way, I keep referencing this proposal review series, so in case you want to watch it, I'll have it linked somewhere right there on the screen. I don't know. Probably there. And I'll also have it linked below, just in case. Now, once you sent a few good proposals, it's time for interviewing. So if the project is of a higher price, usually the client will want to meet you first before they commit. I highly recommend you do it through Upwork. You can actually generate a Zoom link through Upwork. They have a little integration. That's the best way to do it. And they also allow you to book it very easily. So you can send a booking link essentially through Upwork to the client. So in your messages at the top, you can send, I think it just says schedule meeting or something like that. So you click on it, you define the amount of time that you want for the meeting. I usually do 15 minutes. And then it connects to your calendar and lets the client know when you're available. So it's super easy and super safe because Upwork keeps you safe. And please, the most important thing in this step is to not take the conversation outside Upwork. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but if they send you a Telegram link or a WhatsApp link or heck, a Skype link, ignore it, block them, report the message, because it's usually a scam. And if you don't think it's a scam, just let them know it's against terms of service and ask them to talk to you on Upwork. If they push back, they're a dick and it's a scam, so report them. And one last thing here for interviews, it's okay to be nervous. I got this question recently, like, how do you get over it? And, you know, little secret here, I still get nervous for discovery calls 10 years later, so I can't tell you that it will be perfect one day, but I can tell you it gets better, it gets easier. And the only way that I know to overcome it is to go through it. So I'm sorry, that's not good advice. I'm sorry, that's not what you want to hear. But just do it. Do just audio only if you're very shy or something like that. One trick that I actually do is I don't turn my camera on unless they turn. So I wait for them to turn their camera on first. So that may be a little trick that you use, but it'll all be okay in the end. Next step is working, actually doing the job. So you've gotten hired, presumably. Now what? Here, the main thing you want to keep in mind is to do it the right way. And I mean, really follow Upwork's rules because they're in place for a reason. They're in place so they can help you and also so they can make money, but you know, they're a business, they gotta make money. But make sure, first of all, that the client sends you an offer and that you accept it before you do any type of work. Even if it's a trial, like make sure they're paying you for that trial, like even if it's just $5. If it's an hourly project, make sure they have their payment verified and make sure you check how many hours they allow you per week. so you don't go over that, because anything you do over that, it's not guaranteed. And also make sure, if possible, that you track your time using the Upwork tracker. That's the safest way to be, guaranteed payment. And also, if you can't do that, please double check, first of all, before you start working, that the client allows for manual hours to be added, because if they don't, you really have to use the tracker. So double check that before you start. Now, if it's a fixed price job, make sure the milestone you're working on is fully funded and active before you start working. I've heard a lot of cases where people just fund like $5 and then they do the whole work and then they notice they only get paid $5 for a $500 job or something like that. So make sure anything you're working on right now is covered by what's funded. Sometimes clients will fund the whole thing, the whole project, and pay you the whole thing in the end. Sometimes they will fund it in milestones. So let's say they fund you just for the initial draft. The only thing you can work on during that period is that draft. Like, don't do any work past that before you get paid for that milestone and before they fund the next milestone. I personally do the full thing. So how it works is the client pays the full thing to Upwork in the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, I deliver the work and Upwork delivers the money to me. So that's the simplest way to do it. Don't do any work that's not funded, okay? And now, once you start working on Upwork, it's time to grow. As you get clients on Upwork, you'll obviously start growing within the platform, which is great. You'll get more trust as more clients leave reviews on your profile. And you'll be able to work towards badges like the Rising Talent, the Top Rated Plus, and Expert Vetted, which I finally got last year after 9 years on Upwork, which was awesome. I know what I just gave you was a lot of information, but I have even more where that came from inside my Freelance Level Up course. In there, I go much more in depth about each of these steps. I literally hold your hand throughout the whole process with informational videos, with workbooks that you can fill out, as well as other resources that have helped me in my journey in this past 10 years on Upwork. So if you really want to fast track your way to success on Upwork, get that course. I know I'm biased, but I'll have the link down below so you can check it out. Let me know any questions you have. But essentially, I've put my heart and soul into that course, and it's at a price point that honestly your first client should cover. So you literally have nothing to lose if you ask me. So go check it out, and I'll see you inside.